Last week, I posted a short featuring this guy, my Tahu Mana revamp, and it went absolutely crazy. A lot of people also wanted to see the full build process, so in this video, we're gonna do exactly that. Let's get started. Okay, so first, we're gonna tackle the torso. Grab one of these plates and add a couple more to the back in red. Next, we're gonna add a couple of these socket bricks, one on the left and the other on the right. This is gonna be to connect the arms to later. Then we add in a ratchet brick for an ab crunch and a mini socket for the next stock. Then we're gonna get a couple of these brackets and clip them into the back. This is gonna provide some good lockdown later. A couple of magnifying bar stud pieces. Then we're gonna grab one of these 1x4 Technic bricks with a 3-long plate on the bottom. That's gonna be so that everything hits the same level correctly. This can just be any 2x1 brick. I just had this axle brick laying around. After that, we're gonna cap it all off with a 2x4 plate and put in one of these Technic round bricks for some texture and this little assembly that's gonna hold the chest ball in place. Next, we're gonna put a couple of these elbow plates in. And now we're gonna get to my favorite part, the pistons. So I made this with a stud with a hole in it, a couple of lightsaber hilts, and I capped it off with a regular stud. And we're gonna attach it to one of those magnifying bar stud pieces earlier so that we can get the right curve. Uh-oh, wait, I forgot a really important piece. Now that we've got this piece in place, we should be able to get the V shape that we want to mimic that original torso piece. Much better. All right, just clip these elbow plates into place and boom. Next, we're gonna add in a couple of these Technic 1x2 plates. I think they add a nice level of contrast. And then we're gonna throw in a couple more brackets right here at the top of the chest. That's gonna give us some really nice lockdown when we throw in these banana tiles and angular plates, one on each side. Perfect. Now we're gonna throw in this other angular plate for the chest, and that's gonna keep everything in place. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna cap it off with a couple of more 1x2 angular plates, and we're getting close to the end of the chest piece. But before we do that, let's go ahead and attach the original head, and we're gonna slide that right onto the next stock. Cool, that'll give us some nice movement later. All right, let's work on the pelvis. We'll make up a little assembly, put some brackets on the side with this socket brick, and then we're gonna cap it off with that Ninjago armor piece, and we're done. Oh wait, how could I have forgotten? I'll throw in a couple of these 1x2 Technic plates for a little bit of texture, and we'll click it into place, and boom. There's our torso, and it's got an ab crunch. How cool is that? Okay, now everybody loved this blade piece, and it is so fire. Get it? Fire. To build up the arm, we're gonna start with one of these ratcheting joint bricks. We're gonna throw a plate on the bottom and use another mini socket ball joint assembly and click that right into place. We're gonna grab one of these Technic half plate brick things and put it right on top. After that, we'll get a 1x2 orange plate and then click in a bracket here. That's gonna allow us to put some armor on the sides and provide some good lockdown. And then we're gonna get another 1x2 plate and cap it off with some of these orange ingot pieces. I know a lot of people hate those pieces, but I think they add a perfect amount of texture. What about you? All right, we're gonna put in this 2-long connector in red and attach our fiery blade piece to that. It looks a little thin, so I'm gonna throw in this old school gray connector. There we go. And then we're gonna throw in this pentagon tile to wrap up the arm. Next, we're gonna build a blaster arm. We're gonna use a slightly different assembly, but it's gonna have a lot of the same pieces. So we'll use a couple of these brackets with a lift arm brick and ball with a lift arm brick and ball attached. We'll cap it off with a 2x2 orange piece on the back. And then we're gonna throw in a couple more of these ingot pieces just so that our build's aesthetic is consistent. Boom. Next, let's move on to the gauntlet. Oh, but before that, another pentagon tile. All right, so these are gonna serve as the fingers. These are just some of these Technic hinge pieces. We're just gonna click this in and then attach this other part. So you'll need to make 2 of these. And then we're gonna click these into a 1x2 Technic brick with 2 holes in it. Great. We'll throw a plate on the bottom, a socket brick, and then we're gonna cap it off with this Ninjago armor piece, but I'm gonna slide it up 1 to cover more of the gray. Then we'll put a couple of brackets on the bottom. Again, it's gonna provide us some great lockdown. And I found these like trans orange pentagon tiles, and I think they're gonna look perfect for like fiery punches. We'll add a 1x2 plate here on the bottom, cap it off with one of these boat studs, also in trans orange. But I'm noticing that this doesn't really work for me because the levels were different. So adding in a 1x2 plate in orange and then putting it on top will give our build a more consistent look. Look how clean that is. Oh my God. And then we just click that into place and boom, our next arm is done. Dim legs though, let's dive right in. I'm only gonna show you how to build one of these, so just build 2 in mirror. We're going to get a couple of these socket bricks and we're gonna attach them to one another. You could use a 2x4 plate for this, but I don't have any in orange, so I'm gonna use 2 1x4s along with a couple more brackets. Now, these brackets are in orange. You'll need 4 of them. And that's gonna provide some great lockdown. We're gonna put in an angular plate, cap it off with a stud, and then we are going to take 4 of these orange ingot pieces. This is kind of a signature in most of my builds you'll see. I don't know, it's just so satisfying and looks so good. For the back of the thigh, we're going to reverse the direction of the ingot pieces to give us some better lockdown between the plates. Sick. We're gonna put this assembly aside for now, and now we're gonna work on the shin. Okay, let's kick things off with this ball brick and a lift arm brick. I'm gonna add in this pin piece and a couple of Technic bricks to give more rigidity. Click that into place. And now we're gonna add in some of these brackets on the sides and then 4 more bracket pieces to give us some fantastic lockdown. Now you could leave this part rotating for later. I'm gonna lock it down because I want the build to be really rigid, but just keep that in mind if you wanna be different. I'm gonna throw in a couple of these wedge tiles, and then I'm gonna cap it all off with another 2x4 plate in red. Now for some detail, I'm gonna use a couple of these curved slopes, throw in some more trans orange pieces because fire, and then use a couple more wedge tiles to give it some good texture. We're gonna click that into place. All right, now it's time for the part you've all been waiting for, the feet. Okay, we're gonna start off with a slope and click it into a socket brick. We're gonna put one of these 2x3 plates and a couple of brackets for either side. And then we're gonna cap it off with this anti-slope. I'm gonna throw a couple of these rounded Technic plates on the side because the original feet had those little cross holes in them, so I think that'll be cool. Then we'll add in a couple more telephone tiles and we'll put a couple of these gray studs on the toes just for, you know, contrast. We'll click that into place. Nice. And the leg is done. Oh wait, how could I forget? We need to cap this off in the back because if you don't, it'll be very shaky. All right, perfect. We'll click this into place. Boom, boom. And there you have it. Our Tahu revamp is done. Now this build process was super fun and it doesn't really take a ton of time or expertise. Here he is in comparison to the original Tahu, just so that you can get a sense of scale. And here he is with that gift with purchase Tahu as well. Hope you enjoyed the build and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.